The hurried footsteps of nurses and doctors echoed through the hospital corridor in the middle of the night. "Find her now! Don't let her get away!" a doctor shouted angrily. Hidden in a blind spot, Amara held her breath, sweat pouring down her face, as she watched everything unfold and waited for the right moment to escape. In her mind, there was not only the fear of being discovered, but also a growing sense of anger and resentment over everything the people around her had done to her. It was that overwhelming feeling that pushed her to make a decision at that very moment. She was going to change everything. "The number you have dialed is unavailable." That was the status Amara saw every time she called her husband. It was already 2 o'clock in the morning, yet Amara was still anxiously waiting for Cedric to come home. She had thought that once she married Cedric, her life would be different, but little did she know that the tragedy of her life would begin from this point on. Back then, Amara worked as an accountant, and Cedric was her supervisor. Handsome, successful, and highly capable, Cedric quickly caught Amara's attention. Cedric was just as talented as everyone said he was. He climbed the corporate ladder rapidly, and the salary he earned each month was several times higher than that of an average employee. On top of that, Cedric was extremely well liked by upper management, thanks to his smooth-talking personality and exceptional communication skills. With the status and income he enjoyed, supporting 3 or 4 wives at the same time would have been nothing unusual for him. Because of that, Cedric was notoriously unfaithful. Some people would see him spending the morning with one woman and the evening with another. One day, a coworker accidentally overheard a phone conversation Cedric was having with someone, probably a young woman. "Get rid of it. Don't keep it. I'll pay whatever it costs. Just don't bother me again." The day people found out that Amara was dating Cedric, many of them tried to stop her, but she ignored every warning because she had fallen head over heels in love. Amara truly believed her love could change Cedric. But how could a sheep ever change the nature of an old wolf? A year passed, and the day finally came. Amara discovered that Cedric was cheating during one of their meals together. While Cedric had gone to the restroom, a message notification sounded from his phone. "Are you coming over to my place tonight, baby?" Amara read the message and her face instantly turned red, her whole body burning with anger. She was so shocked that her hands trembled uncontrollably. As soon as Cedric walked out of the restroom and saw Amara holding his phone, he rushed over, snatched it back, and asked in panic, "Why are you looking through my phone?" "I'm your girlfriend. Don't I have the right to look at your phone? If I hadn't looked, how would I know you were betraying me?" "You misunderstood. She's just the type who likes to joke around and send messages like that. If you don't like it, I'll block her right now. I don't believe you. Let's break up. Please don't. I'll block her right now so you can see that everything I'm saying is true." As soon as he finished speaking, Cedric immediately blocked the woman in front of Amara. Amara felt more reassured than before. Even though she still had doubts, Cedric's silver tongue gradually convinced her. Seeing the opportunity, Cedric continued with his sweet words. "I only love you. I've never done anything wrong to you. Please trust me." Amara remained silent, except for her sobs. She nodded obediently. Cedric gently stroked her cheek, wiped away her tears, and continued trying to win back her trust with sweet words. "Come on, sweetheart. Don't cry anymore. After we finish eating, I'll take you to the movies and stay with you until tonight. If I'm with you until tonight, how could I possibly spend the night with her, right? You promise?" Just as Cedric had carefully painted the picture, Amara believed every word he said. The mood quickly returned to normal. Cedric teased her and made her laugh throughout the rest of the day. He even took her to the movies exactly as he had promised, making her trust him completely. The moment Amara went to the restroom, Cedric immediately unblocked the other woman and sent her a message. "I'm busy with a business trip today. I can't come over. I have work to handle, so don't call me. I'll come see you when I get back." After sending the message, Cedric deleted it and blocked her again just as before, so Amara would not become suspicious. He even smirked proudly and said to himself, "Girls are so easy. A few sweet words and they believe everything." Since they worked at the same company, Amara knew almost everything Cedric did. Seeing him show up at work on time every day, she had no reason to doubt him except when he was meeting clients or traveling for business, times when she could not keep an eye on him. Believing her boyfriend was perfect, talented, and nothing like the womanizer everyone claimed he was, Amara felt proud to have such a successful man as her boyfriend and boss. She thought she was living in a dream. Then one of her coworkers told her, "Amara, Earlier when I went downstairs to receive a delivery, I happened to see Cedric flirting with a woman from the company next door. Could you have mistaken someone else for him? Oh, come on, how could I mistake him? Cedric isn't exactly a stranger. Everyone knows he's a womanizer. I'm not the first person to see something like this. I'm just telling you what I saw. What you do with that information is up to you. After hearing her coworker's words, Amara was only half convinced. This was not the first time she had heard something like this. Since she still had no clear evidence, she said nothing and simply decided to keep watching quietly. The next day, instead of taking her usual lunch break, Amara secretly sat across from the company entrance with a drink in her hand. She chose a seat behind a large man so she would not be noticed. 30 minutes passed, and Cedric never appeared. Amara assumed he was probably asleep in his office like he usually was at that hour, and silently blamed her coworker for making accusations. She muttered to herself, "What a waste of my lunch break. Still, at least now I know Cedric isn't lying to me." Amara paid for her drink and returned to the office to rest. She was completely immersed in her renewed faith in her boyfriend. What Amara did not know was that shortly after she left, Cedric walked into the cafe with the woman from the company next door. The reason she had not seen them earlier was because Cedric had been busy talking on the phone and arrived late, after work. If he had no plans, Cedric would usually drive Amara home before heading home himself. On the way home that day, Cedric said, "Honey, I'm leaving for Miami at 8 tonight to meet with a client. I probably won't be back until tomorrow night. Be good while I'm gone, okay? Don't go talking to any other guys. Then you better buy me something since you'll be away." "I know, sweetheart." That evening, Cedric dressed sharply, covered himself in expensive cologne, and headed out looking every bit the charming gentleman. He left at 8 o'clock exactly as he had said, but he was not going on a business trip. He was going out with the woman from the neighboring company. No one knew where they were headed until they turned into a hotel parking lot. Unfortunately for Cedric, Amara saw everything. She immediately pulled over by the side of the road and took out her phone to snap pictures. True to her accountant's nature, she did not make a scene or start a public confrontation. Instead, she calmly collected evidence. Even so, she could not stop the tears from falling. Amara called Cedric, but the phone rang until the call ended without an answer. She then sent him the photos along with a message. "So this is your business trip. Why are you going into a hotel with a beautiful woman?" Cedric read the message but never replied. Amara sent another one. "People told me you were a womanizer. I didn't believe them. Now I've seen it with my own eyes. It's over. Let's break up." Cedric read every message. Amara turned around and walked away without looking back. And Cedric made no effort to chase after her because he was angry himself. If Amara had not been beautiful and from a respectable family, he would have replaced her long ago. Perhaps out of all the women in his life, Amara was the one Cedric cared about the most. And perhaps Amara was also the most beautiful woman he had ever dated. After returning home, Amara kept thinking about the man who had betrayed her, and the thought made her cry uncontrollably. While sitting there sobbing, she suddenly remembered something very important. She rushed to a drawer, grabbed a pregnancy test, and took it immediately. Amara could not believe her eyes when the result showed 2 lines. As she thought about Cedric, she remembered that she had missed her period for more than a month. Now the test showed that she was pregnant with Cedric's child, which made her feel even more devastated. She convinced herself that taking the test at night might not be accurate, and that the result the following morning would be the one that truly mattered. After comforting herself with that thought, she eventually fell asleep. The next morning, the result was still 2 lines, exactly the same as the night before. Amara felt as if the entire sky had collapsed on top of her. Did this mean her life would remain tied to Cedric after all? Amara decided to tell her mother about the pregnancy. Her mother advised her, "No matter what happens, you need to tell him. If he refuses to take responsibility, then we'll figure out what to do next." Amara followed her mother's advice and sent a message asking to meet Cedric in private. When Cedric saw Amara, he immediately grabbed her hand and acted as though he deeply regretted everything. "Amara, I'm so happy you agreed to meet me today. Please forgive me. I've regretted what I did so much. I'm pregnant." Amara did not hesitate and got straight to the point. She had expected Cedric to deny responsibility and was ready for that reaction. Before she could say anything else, Cedric suddenly spoke. "Then let's get married." Cedric's words left Amara stunned. She never imagined that a womanizer like Cedric would willingly take responsibility for the child. The response moved her deeply. Seeing her standing there speechless, Cedric continued, "This afternoon I'll go speak with your parents. I'll take care of you and our child. Go home and get some rest. Don't worry. I'm here for you, and I'll never let you go." Cedric's gentle words made Amara trust him once again. In the end, the two of them successfully held their wedding ceremony. At that point, all of Amara's resentment towards Cedric disappeared like clouds in the wind. All that remained was a wife who trusted her husband completely. She simply believed that Cedric loved their child, would take responsibility, and had chosen her as the person he wanted to spend the rest of his life with. Cedric also suggested that Amara quit her job and stay home to focus on her pregnancy and take care of their future children. "I'll handle everything out there. Let me be the one who works and provides for the family." For the first 2 or 3 months, married life was peaceful and happy. But after that, Cedric returned to his old habits. He stayed out late at night, came home long after midnight, and his phone was always unavailable. Amara became so tired of hearing the same automated message every time she called him that she could practically recite it by heart. During her pregnancy, she needed her husband's care and attention, but he was nowhere to be found. Fortunately, Cedric's mother had come from her small hometown outside Atlanta to help take care of her. Cedric's mother lived a very carefree and outgoing lifestyle. She had been widowed ever since Cedric was 10 years old and had remained single ever since. She had no husband, but she never lacked lovers. Back in her hometown, she had spent nights with countless men, but, living alone, she enjoyed complete freedom without having to worry about raising children. Cedric was her only son. Her daughter had married and moved away with her husband. She spent her days in the house Cedric provided for her, with more money than she could ever spend. When Cedric was a child, it was nothing unusual for him to see strange men spending the night in his mother's house. Sometimes he would even wake up in the morning and see one of those men giving his mother money while she handed some of it to Cedric and his sister. Perhaps because he grew up watching his mother move from one man to another, Cedric adopted the same unhealthy lifestyle. One night, it was already midnight. Amara tried contacting Cedric again, but his phone was still unavailable. She waited so long that she eventually fell asleep on the couch. When Cedric's mother saw her there, she woke her up and said, "Amara, why aren't you sleeping in your room? Your belly is getting bigger. You shouldn't be sleeping out here. I'm waiting for Cedric to come home. Forget about him. Are you really going to sleep out here all night just because he isn't home? But his phone isn't working, and I'm worried. He's probably busy with work. Maybe he's in a meeting. What kind of meeting lasts until this hour? Meeting with women, maybe. That's more likely. Mom, watch your attitude. Your husband works hard to earn money and support you, and here you are giving him a hard time. I'm sorry. I'm just worried. Cedric has always been popular with women. Who told you that? Even if he does see other women, so what? He's a man. Men can have several wives if they want. You're his wife. You don't get to complain about it. So, if my husband cheats on me, you support that? As long as he provides for you, you have no right to criticize him. Now I understand where Cedric gets it from." The moment Amara said that, Cedric's mother angrily slapped her across the face. Before Amara could even raise her head, another slap landed. Amara held her cheek and cried, "I didn't say anything wrong. We're both women. Why can't you sympathize with me? Why do you support your son cheating? Because he's my son. Looking at you annoys me. No wonder Cedric gets tired of you. You should be grateful he hasn't thrown you out on the street." Just as she finished speaking, Cedric returned home. Hearing the doorbell, his mother ran to open the door. She immediately burst into fake tears despite not shedding a single tear. Holding her cheek, she cried, "Cedric, look at your wife. She hit me." "What?" Without even waiting for an explanation, Cedric stormed inside. The moment Amara stood up, Cedric slapped her so hard that she fell back onto the chair. Crying, she asked, "Why are you hitting me? You dared to disrespect my mother? You dared to hit her? Today I'm going to teach you a lesson," Cedric continued, striking her across the face again and again. Amara could not defend herself. All she could do was grit her teeth and endure the beating. Eventually, even his mother became worried that something serious might happen. She stepped in and said, "That's enough, Cedric. She's learned her lesson. She's pregnant. If you hit her too hard, something bad could happen." Only then did Cedric stop. Pointing directly at Amara, he warned, "Listen carefully. If it weren't for the baby you're carrying, I would have beaten you far worse than this. Watch yourself." After that, Cedric walked into the kitchen to eat. Moments later, his mother suddenly shouted, "Cedric, come here! Your wife collapsed." Hearing that, he panicked and rushed back. Amara had fainted. Cedric immediately called an ambulance. Even inside the ambulance, Cedric continued acting like a loving husband. Holding Amara's hand, he said, "Honey, are you okay? How could you be so careless and let yourself end up like this?" Amara heard every fake word coming from both Cedric and his mother, but she was too weak to open her eyes, defend herself, or explain anything. In front of the doctors and nurses, Cedric played the role of a devoted husband perfectly. Knowing the medical staff would notice the bruises on Amara's body, he quickly handed out money to everyone involved. Wherever money was needed, he paid it. As a result, nobody questioned anything. Instead, they praised him. Eventually, the doctor said, "Your wife is fine. The baby is fine too. But don't let anything like this happen again. It could affect both mother and child." "Yes, doctor." "I understand." After the doctor left, both Cedric and his mother sighed with relief. Cedric said, "That was close. We almost had a disaster on our hands." His mother replied, "You need to control yourself. You almost hurt my grandson." When Cedric entered the room again, Amara was awake. The moment she saw him, she turned her face away. Cedric acted as though he had never laid a hand on her. "Honey, are you feeling better?" "Why?" "I want to go to my mother's house," Amara whispered weakly. "No, sweetheart. You're too weak right now. Your parents are getting older, and we shouldn't trouble them. Let me take care of you." Several people in nearby hospital beds overheard the conversation and immediately praised him. "You're lucky to have a husband who cares so much about both you and your parents." The more compliments Cedric received, the more pleased he became. He increased the performance, showing even greater concern for Amara. Meanwhile, Amara felt terrified. She had nearly been beaten to death. Yet now everyone saw Cedric as a wonderful husband. After returning home, Amara barely spoke to either Cedric or his mother. But Cedric was a clever man. He knew exactly how to adapt to the situation. Realizing Amara was angry and knowing he was in the wrong, he began coming home on time every day. Each evening he brought flowers, wrote romantic notes, and bought special food for her pregnancy. Of course, he never forgot to film every gesture and post it on social media. People flooded the comments with praise and admiration, which only fueled his excitement. Thanks to the power of social media, Cedric quickly became known as the perfect husband, the kind of man countless women dreamed of marrying. As for Amara, she could not return to her parents looking the way she did, so she remained where she was and endured everything for the sake of her unborn child. Reading all the comments praising Cedric, she felt a sense of pride as well. Little by little, Amara forgave everything Cedric had done to her. A month passed without any major changes. The next day was Amara's due date, so she carefully packed everything she needed before heading to the hospital with Cedric and his mother. Because she was carrying a baby boy, Cedric and his mother showed her a great deal of attention, though the affection was really for the baby rather than for her. During labor, the doctor came out and asked, "Who is the family of Amara?" "I am," Cedric replied. The doctor said, "Your wife is too weak to deliver naturally. If the family signs the consent form for a C-section right now, we can save both mother and baby." Cedric's mother immediately spoke up. "Natural birth is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. A C-section isn't good for my grandson." Cedric agreed with his mother. "Doctor, please let her deliver naturally." The doctor shook his head. "So both of you are choosing natural delivery instead of a C-section, even if it puts the mother at risk?" Both mother and son answered at the same time. "That's right. Fine. We'll do everything we can." The doctor turned and went back into the delivery room. Cedric and his mother waited outside. When visiting hours finally arrived, they discovered that Amara had undergone a C-section after all. Both of them were furious, but because they did not want Amara to learn what had happened, they kept silent. Cedric had already built a reputation as the perfect husband, so he dared not make a scene and risk damaging his image. The moment he saw his son, he rushed over, eager to hold him. Amara knew nothing about what had happened and was overwhelmed with happiness. On the day Amara was discharged, The doctor came to speak with her privately while Cedric was handling the paperwork. Sitting beside her hospital bed, the doctor asked, "Are you feeling better?" "Yes, doctor, thank you. I'm feeling much better now," the doctor hesitated before saying, "I think you should know something. I'm listening. You should reconsider your husband and his mother. During labor, you were too weak to deliver naturally. If we had continued with natural birth, neither you nor the baby might have survived. I told them to sign the consent form for surgery, but they refused. I had no other choice, so I performed the operation anyway." The doctor stood up. "You should think carefully about your future. Take care." "Thank you, doctor." After hearing those words, Amara's entire body went weak. She could not believe that Cedric and his mother had cared only about the baby and had treated her life as though it meant nothing. At the moment she had been fighting for her life, they had been willing to push her toward death. Amara was still too weak to leave on her own, so she called her mother. She did not tell her about what the doctor had revealed. She simply said that she had given birth and wanted her mother to come help take care of her. Amara knew very well that Cedric would never let her leave so easily. If she tried, he would probably take the baby away from her. So she remained silent and waited for the right opportunity. When Amara's mother arrived at the hospital, she happily held her grandson, greeted everyone, and did not forget to praise her son-in-law. Seeing her mother there, Amara immediately said, "Mom, I just gave birth, so I want to stay at your house for a while I recover." Cedric immediately objected. "No. Your house is too crowded. Your son and his family are already living there. It wouldn't be convenient. The baby already has his grandmother helping take care of him. Let your mother stay home and rest." Cedric's mother quickly added, "That's right. Your mother is busy enough already. She can visit whenever she wants. Let her rest at home." Hearing their sweet words, Amara's mother felt reassured. "They're right, Amara. You have such a good husband and such a caring mother-in-law. What is there to worry about?" Sensing an opportunity, Cedric continued. He knew exactly what his mother-in-law liked. "Mom, I heard your car keeps breaking down. Once everything settles down, I'll buy you a new one, so it'll be easier for you to come visit your grandson." The moment she heard that, her eyes lit up. What a thoughtful son-in-law. "I only mentioned that old car once, and you remembered." Amara is truly lucky. Seeing her own mother react that way, Amara could only remain silent as her plans fell apart. During the months after childbirth, Cedric's mother barely helped take care of Amara. Feeding the baby, changing diapers, and waking up during the night all fell on Amara's shoulders. The only times her mother-in-law acted caring were when Cedric was home. Because Cedric loved his son very much, he spoiled him constantly and paid close attention to him. Not only that, he also tried to win Amara over by buying her expensive jewelry. Cedric treated her so well that Amara slowly softened once again. She even began telling herself that perhaps the doctor had mistaken someone else. After all, how could a man who loved his child so much possibly be as cruel as the doctor described? Gradually, Amara became cheerful around Cedric again. Although she remained upset with her mother-in-law for showing so little concern for her, she reminded herself that the woman would only stay for a few months and then leave. 3 months later, Cedric's mother finally returned to her hometown. Only then did Amara feel comfortable again. Living with her mother-in-law had been exhausting. Every little thing she did was watched, criticized, or questioned. She constantly felt pressure. But before long, just as life started feeling peaceful again, Cedric returned to his old womanizing habits once more. One day, a woman who appeared to be older than Amara arrived at the house and rang the doorbell. The moment Amara opened the door, the woman said, "Are you Amara?" "Yes, I am. Who are you looking for?" "I'm Cedric's girlfriend. Cedric told me you were his younger sister. This is my first time meeting you." "You're so sweet." Hearing those words, Amara was furious and wanted to attack the woman right then and there. But she quickly realized that this woman had also been deceived by Cedric, so she forced herself to stay calm. "Please come in." "Thank you. Have some water." "How long have you been dating Cedric?" "About 4 months. He never brought me here, so I decided to come and surprise him today. Looks like I'm not the one who's surprised." "What do you mean?" Come with me." Amara led the woman into the bedroom. She pointed to the wedding portrait hanging on the wall, and then to the baby sleeping peacefully on the bed. The woman's eyes widened in shock. She walked back to the living room and drained her glass of water in one gulp. I can't believe he's such a disgusting man. He's going to pay for this. She stood up and headed for the door. Before leaving, she turned around and said, I'm sorry. I didn't know he had a family. If I had known, I never would have dated him. Goodbye. Amara was furious. Taking care of a baby alone was already exhausting, and her husband spent all his time chasing women. The stress pushed her deeper into depression. Sometimes when her son cried, she imagined the sound as the roar of a lion. She sat against the wall, covering her ears and screaming, "Be quiet!" The baby cried even louder. After a while, she finally regained control of herself and rushed back to comfort him. As she held him in her arms and watched him nurse quietly, tears streamed down her face. One moment she was smiling, the next she was crying. When Cedric came home, Amara immediately ran outside to confront him. You found another woman behind my back again, didn't you? Who gave you the right to question me, you stupid woman? Without another word, Cedric slapped her so hard she fell to the floor. He climbed on top of her and began punching her repeatedly. Die, die, he shouted through clenched teeth. It was as if he had been furious about something else and was using Amara as an outlet for his rage. After finally tiring himself out, he spat on the floor and said, That woman came looking for me today, didn't she? Who does she think she is, showing up at my company and causing a scene? She embarrassed me in front of everyone. Luckily, the director wasn't there. And now I come home, and you're talking back to me? You're the disgusting one. You betrayed me and still have the nerve to hit me. I'm going back to my mother's house. You think I'm going to let you leave? Your job is to stay in this house and take care of my children. If you leave alone. The children stay here. And if you keep defying me, don't blame me for what happens next. Cedric walked away and left Amara lying on the floor in pain. She could barely stand. Hearing her baby crying for her, she slowly dragged herself back into the room. Sitting there in despair, Amara decided to take her son and secretly run away to her mother's house. If she stayed here any longer, she would lose her mind. She did not bother packing clothes or belongings. She only wanted to grab her son and leave before Cedric returned, but Cedric had already locked the doors. He had anticipated that she might try to escape, and, holding her son, Amara broke down in tears. Everything that had happened was overwhelming her. Laughing and crying at the same time, she called her mother. Mom, please come get me. I can't stay here anymore. What happened? Cedric hit me. He's cheating on me, and he hit me. He locked all the doors. Lum. Please come get me. Calm down. Even if Cedric cheats, he still provides for you and the children. That means he loves you. Calm down, and don't do anything foolish. Think about your children. Mom, don't you believe me? Of course I do. But the rainy season is coming. Our house leaks. 1. Cedric gave me money to repair it. I was even planning to ask him for more. Besides, your brother hates conflict. You're better off staying where you are. So all you care about is money and my brother? I'm busy. I'm hanging up. The line went dead. Amara had always believed her mother would protect her if she needed help. Instead, she realized her mother had been bought with Cedric's money. Ever since childhood, her mother had favored sons over daughters. Amara had always been the one who sacrificed. When she got married, her mother gave her nothing except a gold bracelet. Yet when her younger brother got married, he received gold rings, necklaces, bracelets, and even the family home. Amara had never complained because she believed that once a woman married, she belonged to her husband's family. But now she realized how cruel her own mother could be. Her son began crying again, pushing Amara even deeper into a mental breakdown. She started behaving like someone who had lost touch with reality. The sound of her son crying became the roar of a lion in her mind. Then she looked at him and imagined he was a wolf preparing to attack her. Without thinking, she picked him up and placed him inside the washing machine. Then she walked back to her bedroom, curled up on the bed, and lay there motionless. After returning from another visit with one of his mistresses, Cedric could not find his son anywhere. He walked into the bedroom and demanded, "Where's my son? Do you hear me? Where is my son?" Amara sat there acting strangely and refused to answer. Cedric wanted to beat her again, but then remembered that he had already gone too far earlier and feared causing serious trouble. Assuming Amara had taken the baby to her mother's house, he called his mother-in-law. "Mom, did Amara bring my son over to visit?" No, she just called me earlier, crying and begging me to pick her up. Where have you been? Why weren't you home? I was working. I noticed Amara's mental state wasn't stable, so I locked the doors to keep her safe. Right now, she's lying on the bed, and the baby is missing. She won't answer any of my questions. I'm coming over right now. Suddenly, Cedric heard a baby crying from the laundry room. He rushed in and found his son lying inside the washing machine. Instead of immediately picking the child up, the first thing Cedric did was pull out his phone and start recording. He reached toward the baby, then suddenly thought of something. He deliberately placed the child back inside the washing machine and calmly walked away. He sat in the living room drinking water while waiting for his mother-in-law to arrive. The moment the doorbell rang, he knew she was there. He quickly threw away the drink, put on a terrified expression, and rushed to open the door. As soon as Amara's mother and younger brother entered, they heard the baby crying and ran to pick him up. Only then did Cedric pretend to be shocked. "Oh my God, here he is! I was so scared. I can't believe he was inside the washing machine." Amara's mother and brother stared in disbelief. Has Amara gone crazy? She put her own child in the washing machine? I don't know what's wrong with her, Mom. She's in the bedroom. Amara's mother rushed into the room. She found Amara sitting there, with tangled hair and an empty stare. What happened to you? Why would you put your child in the washing machine? He's a wolf. He was going to bite me. With Amara's family witnessing everything firsthand, Cedric successfully created exactly the scene he wanted. The bruises on Amara's body were no longer evidence of his abuse. Everything had gone according to plan. He escaped responsibility for beating her a second time and strengthened his image as the nation's perfect husband. Cedric uploaded the video of his son inside the washing machine along with footage of Amara's unstable behavior. He accompanied it with emotional captions. "I will always be by your side, my love. Don't worry. Our children and I are waiting for you to come back to us. Please get better soon. I love you." The public praised Cedric even more. The scandal involving the mistress who had caused trouble at his company quickly disappeared. Instead, the video became the perfect defense for his reputation. His superiors trusted him more than ever and rewarded him with a raise. The more money Cedric earned, the more he used it to buy people's loyalty. He gave Amara's mother money to take care of her so that nobody would become suspicious. Every day after work, he visited the hospital without fail. Everyone around him, including Amara's mother, constantly praised him. Everything seemed to go perfectly for Cedric. Meanwhile, as Amara slowly recovered, Cedric secretly grew irritated. Outwardly, he acted happy, but whenever he was alone, he muttered under his breath, "Why is she recovering so quickly? She's going to be a problem again." One evening, Cedric drove to a house where a young woman opened the door. The moment he stepped inside, he embraced and kissed her passionately. This woman was Kiara, his favorite mistress. Kiara was outgoing, attractive, and dressed in a very seductive way. Cedric liked her so much that he had even bought her a house. Seeing Cedric in a bad mood, Kiara asked, "What's wrong?" "My wife is getting better. She'll be coming home soon. Then why don't you just divorce her?" "Not yet. Why not?" "If I divorce her now, she'll get part of the assets and possibly custody of the children. Then what are you planning to do?" "If she keeps acting crazy, that would be perfect." Kiara smiled. "I can't believe you're that cruel. I like you even more now." They laughed together and disappeared into the bedroom. Later, when Cedric seemed more relaxed, Kiara asked, "Are you really planning to keep the children?" "Of course. They're my children." Kiara frowned. She had no interest in raising Amara's children. "But I don't like that idea. What about our future children?" "Don't worry. By then we'll have nannies. I have plenty of money. You think I'd let you do any work?" "You better remember that." "Of course, sweetheart." To Cedric, everything was going according to plan. He cared only about what benefited him. As far as he was concerned, women were easy to replace. Living next door to Amara was a man named Donovan who had recently moved into the neighborhood. Donovan was in his late 30s, polite, friendly, and carried himself like a gentleman. Shortly after moving in, he brought over some fruit as a gift and introduced himself. One day, while Amara was cleaning, a light bulb burned out. Not knowing how to fix it, she went next door. "Donovan, the light in my house stopped working. Could you help me?" "Of course, Amara. I'll be right over." While Donovan stood on a chair replacing the bulb, Amara steadied it from below. The two chatted comfortably. and laughed together. Donovan was easy to talk to and naturally likable. Since Cedric was rarely home, Amara appreciated having someone willing to help with small household problems. After the repair was finished, she said, "Why don't you stay for lunch? It's my way of thanking you." "That sounds great. I haven't cooked anything yet anyway." "Then I should be the one thanking you." They were halfway through lunch when Cedric unexpectedly returned home. Amara immediately put down her fork and went to greet him. The moment he stepped inside, Cedric slapped her hard across the face. "I'm out there working myself to death while you bring men into my house." "No, this is Donovan, the neighbor who just moved in. The light broke, and he came over to help fix it." Donovan immediately stepped in. "Please calm down. I'm Donovan. I just moved here. There's nothing going on between us. She asked me to fix the light and invited me to lunch as a thank you." Hearing that, Cedric instantly changed his attitude. "I'm sorry. I got jealous for no reason." He helped Amara back to her feet and began apologizing repeatedly. "I'm sorry, sweetheart. I only reacted that way because I love you so much. Look, I brought gifts home for you." Donovan watched the scene and shook his head. "That temper of yours is something else." After that incident, Cedric began bringing Amara vitamins and supplements every day. The doctor said, "These are good for your recovery. Make sure you take them." Amara never questioned him. She trusted Cedric completely and swallowed the pills every day. Whenever she felt dizzy, exhausted, or emotionally unstable, Cedric would gently comfort her. "You're still recovering. Don't think too much." Gradually, Amara began doubting her own mind. She wondered if maybe she really was mentally unstable. The pills made her increasingly tired, forgetful, and emotionally fragile, but she believed they were helping her heal. One afternoon, Amara took the children out for a walk. While crossing the street, she suddenly spotted Cedric, when he was not alone. Standing beside him was Kiara, when the two were laughing together intimately. Cedric even wrapped an arm around Kiara's waist. Amara froze in place. Her entire body trembled. She could not believe what she was seeing. Every painful memory came flooding back at once. The affairs, the lies, the beatings, the humiliation, everything. Tears streamed down her face. Amara stood there, staring, as Cedric and Kiara disappeared into a nearby building. She felt as though her entire world had collapsed again. At that moment, Donovan happened to see her standing there. He immediately walked over. "Amara, what happened?" "It's Cedric. He's with another woman." Donovan looked in the direction she was pointing. "Come on, let's get you home first." Amara could barely speak. She simply nodded and allowed Donovan to help her back home. That evening, Donovan called Amara. His voice sounded urgent and panicked. "Amara, listen to me carefully. Something terrible happened." "What is it?" "I think Cedric killed someone." "What?" "I saw him arguing with a woman. It looked like Kiara. I think he stabbed her. He's heading home right now." Amara's entire body went cold. "What are you talking about?" "I'm serious. I don't know what to do. I thought you should know." The call ended. Amara sat frozen in fear. Every violent thing Cedric had ever done flashed through her mind. The beatings, the threats, the lies, the manipulation. For the first time, she truly believed Cedric might be capable of murder. Terrified, Amara searched the house for something to defend herself with. She eventually grabbed a kitchen knife and held it tightly in her trembling hands. Her heart pounded as she waited. Suddenly, the front door opened. Footsteps approached. Amara raised the knife. At that exact moment, police officers burst into the house. "Drop the knife!" Amara froze, in shock. Seconds later, Cedric walked into the room behind them. "What's going on?" he asked, pretending not to understand. The officers quickly noticed several bottles of medication nearby. Cedric immediately spoke up. "Officer, my wife has been receiving psychiatric treatment. She's been struggling for months." The officers looked at Amara holding the knife, then at the medication bottles, then back at Cedric. Everything appeared exactly as Cedric wanted it to appear. Amara tried to explain. "No, he's lying. Someone called and told me he killed someone. Ma'am, please calm down. I'm telling the truth." But nobody listened. Cedric stepped forward and gently placed a hand on her shoulder. "It's okay, sweetheart. Everything is going to be okay." To everyone else, he looked like a devoted husband trying to help his unstable wife. Within days, Amara was admitted to a behavioral health center for psychiatric treatment. She cried, begged, and tried to explain the truth, but nobody believed her. Her mother did not believe her. The police did not believe her. Even some of the medical staff viewed Cedric as a loving husband, doing everything he could to support his wife. As Amara was escorted deeper into the facility, she turned around one last time and saw Cedric standing outside. He waved sadly and pretended to wipe tears from his eyes. Anyone watching would have believed he was heartbroken. Only Amara knew the truth. Cedric had finally succeeded. He had taken away her freedom, her credibility, and her ability to protect herself. A few days later, Cedric met Donovan in private. Without saying much, he handed over an envelope filled with cash. Donovan stared at it in silence. "You did exactly what I asked," Cedric said. "You earned it." Donovan accepted the money but felt no satisfaction. Ever since Amara had been taken away, he could not stop thinking about her face. He remembered her kindness, her trust, and the way she had treated him like a friend. "You okay?" Cedric asked. "Yeah." Donovan forced a smile. Cedric drove away feeling victorious. Donovan remained standing there holding the envelope. For the first time, he felt ashamed of himself. He knew he had helped destroy the life of an innocent woman. And although he had taken the money, a part of him was already beginning to regret what he had done. That night, Amara decided she had to find Donovan and demand answers. She waited until everyone had fallen asleep before climbing over the wall and escaping from the behavioral health center. Amara made her way to Donovan's house and repeatedly pressed the doorbell. Donovan had already gone to bed, and the nonstop ringing forced him awake. Half asleep, he stumbled to the door. Before he could even see who it was, Amara lunged at him, knocking both of them to the floor. She grabbed him by the throat and shouted, "How could you do this to me?" "Calm down. I'm sorry." "Sorry? There's no sorry. You deserve to die. Please calm down. I know a way to help you." "What way?" "Let go of me first." Hearing that, Amara finally loosened her grip. Donovan quickly sat up and continued, "I'm sorry. I felt guilty every day. That's why I stayed here waiting for you. How can I trust you again? I could have disappeared long ago, but I stayed. If I wanted to deceive you again, I wouldn't still be here. Besides, everyone already believes you're mentally unstable. If you killed me right now, nobody would blame you." Amara paused. "That's true. Go on." Donovan nodded. "Do you remember the day I fixed the light in your house?" "Yes. That day I secretly installed a camera. It was my way of protecting myself while working with someone as dangerous as Cedric." "What did it record?" "It recorded Cedric switching the labels on your medication. It also recorded the phone conversation between you and me." "So there's proof?" "Yes. At the very least, it proves you weren't mentally ill. Cedric manipulated everything. But that still isn't enough. I know. That's why I have another plan." Donovan leaned closer and lowered his voice. "I'm going to take you to Kiara's house. Cedric is probably there right now." "Then what?" "You'll pretend you came to see your children, start an argument with him, make him lose his temper. And then? I'll stay hidden in the car and record everything. If he hits you and starts talking, we'll finally have proof. You really think this will work?" "It's our best chance." Amara stared at him for a moment before nodding. "Fine, let's do it." The two immediately got into a dark-colored car and headed toward Kiara's house. Following the plan, Amara marched up to the front door and began pounding on it. "Come out here! Give me back my children!" Hearing her voice, Cedric immediately rushed outside. The moment he saw her, he exploded with rage. "You again?" He grabbed Amara and began hitting her while shouting insults. "Stay away from my children, you crazy woman!" Amara did not fight back. Instead, she screamed, "You drugged me! You gave me those pills! You wanted everyone to think I was insane so you could take my children and keep all the money for yourself." Cedric laughed coldly. "Don't you think it's a little late to figure that out?" Amara stared at him. "You admitted it. So what? Nobody believes a crazy woman." "Nobody is ever going to believe you." Cedric continued beating her, unaware that Donovan was recording every second from inside the vehicle. Amara endured every blow. She knew that if she wanted her freedom back, she needed evidence more than she needed revenge. Once Donovan had recorded enough, he quickly left the area. Not long afterward, Amara's mother arrived along with several nurses from the behavioral health center. Cedric immediately switched back into his performance. "Mom, this is terrible. Amara's condition is getting worse. She came here and attacked my friend." She terrified the children and started demanding a divorce again. Amara's mother looked exhausted. I don't even know what to say anymore. She turned to Amara and shook her head sadly. You've changed so much. Mom, listen to me. Enough. Let's go. Nobody wanted to hear her explanation. Amara was taken back to the behavioral health center, while Cedric stood there acting like a heartbroken husband, watching his sick wife suffer. Back at the facility, Donovan's plan finally moved forward. The video of Cedric attacking Amara was uploaded online, but that was only the beginning. The footage showing Cedric changing the labels on her medication was released. The recording of Cedric manipulating Amara and deceiving her was released. The phone call proving Donovan had helped set up the trap was released as well. Because Cedric had spent so long building his reputation as the perfect husband on social media, the videos exploded across the internet almost immediately. Within hours, they were being shared everywhere. The same audience that had once admired Cedric now began questioning everything they thought they knew about him. Kiara was sitting on the couch eating fruit when she suddenly saw one of the videos appear online. She immediately nudged Cedric and widened her eyes. Honey, look at this. Hurry. What now? Cedric took the phone and stared at the screen in shock. His mouth hung open as he read the comments. So, this is the nation's perfect husband? I never expected the man who pretends to love his wife online would spend all his time plotting against her in real life. What an abusive monster. A violent criminal like him should be. Punished. Furious, Cedric hurled the phone across the room, shattering it into pieces. He swept everything off the table and began shouting, How dare they set me up? Seeing how violent he had become, Kiara did not dare say another word. She quietly went upstairs. Suddenly, a wave of nausea hit her. She rushed into the bathroom and vomited. A few minutes later, she stared at a pregnancy test showing 2 lines. At a moment like this, she did not know whether to be happy or sad. Thinking about a child calling her mommy someday filled her with excitement. She believed Cedric would be thrilled to hear the news and that maybe it would help distract him from the scandal. After all, Cedric loved children. When he finally came upstairs, Kiara smiled and held up the test. Look, I'm pregnant. Get rid of it. What? I said get rid of it. Why? Because I don't need more children. How can you say that? You adore her children, but you want me to get rid of mine? I'm already in a terrible mood. Can't you see that? This is your child. Stop talking. Devastated. Kiara ran into another room and cried. Cedric did not even bother following her. The next morning, the moment they saw each other, Cedric said, You're taking care of it today. I'm not getting rid of this baby. Then you can raise it yourself. How can you say that? How do I even know it's mine? Kiara stared at him in disbelief. What did you just say? You didn't sleep only with me, you bastard. I lost my virginity to you. I waited for you all this time, and now you say something like that? I spent plenty of money on you. How do I know you weren't sleeping with somebody else? Cedric smirked with complete contempt. Kiara trembled with rage. You forced me to sleep with that thug and now you talk to me like this? Watch your mouth. I was blind to ever love someone like you. What did you call me? I called you a monster. I'm going to show everyone who you really are. You dare? Before she could react, Cedric lunged at her. He punched and kicked her repeatedly, knocking her to the floor. Because he was still furious about the videos, he unleashed all of his anger on Kiara. Eventually, one of the housekeepers intervened and stopped him. Kiara remained curled on the floor, clutching her stomach as blood slowly ran down her legs. She was rushed to the hospital. The doctor soon delivered devastating news. She had miscarried, and, before she could even process that loss, another blow followed. She was HIV positive. Kiara collapsed onto the bed and cried uncontrollably. She knew exactly how she had been infected. It had happened because of the thug Cedric had forced her to sleep with. Her baby was gone, and now she carried a life-threatening disease. At that moment, Kiara hated Cedric more than ever. Determined to make Cedric pay, Kiara put together a plan. She took all the customer files from the private business Cedric had secretly built, using clients taken from his employer, and delivered them directly to the company where Cedric worked. The director became furious after reviewing the documents. Before he could even decide what to do, another employee handed him an article exposing Cedric's side business and how he had stolen clients from the company. The director immediately fired Cedric and ordered legal action. Ever since the videos had spread across social media, Cedric's career had been collapsing. Everywhere he went, people whispered about him. Some men even recognized him in public and attacked him. His private company went bankrupt. He lost his job. He turned to alcohol. Little by little, he lost everything he had built. One night, Cedric staggered to Kiara's house reeking of alcohol. He kicked the door open and stormed inside. "Get out here! You betrayed me! You ruined your own life. You destroyed everything. You killed my baby. I didn't do anything. You beat me until I miscarried. That's not my fault. Then, let me tell you something else. Thanks to you, I have HIV. Cedric froze. What? You heard me. That's impossible. I got it because of that thug you forced me to sleep with. You should probably prepare yourself too. Cedric immediately panicked. He screamed and stumbled backward in terror. Kiara grabbed a cup of boiling water and threw it directly into his face. Cedric howled in pain as the scalding water burned his skin. Clutching his face, he stumbled outside. Moments later, he crashed into a group of men who instantly recognized him. That's him! That's the abusive husband from the videos! They attacked him without hesitation. Cedric crawled along the street, battered, burned, and completely broken. Not long afterward, police officers arrived and placed handcuffs on Cedric. He was taken into custody as the investigation moved forward. During the investigation, Amara was officially cleared of any mental illness. The evidence proved she had been manipulated and drugged. She was finally released and granted full custody of her children. The pressure of losing everything proved too much for Cedric. While sitting alone in his jail cell, he bit his tongue and ended his own life. Donovan was the one who told Amara the news. Tears filled her eyes after hearing it. No matter what Cedric had done, they had still shared many years together. Donovan gently comforted her. Don't be sad, Amara. He paid for the things he did. Right now, you need to stay strong and focus on your children and your future. As Cedric's legal wife, Amara inherited everything that remained of his estate. She started over, found a new job, and focused on raising her children. From time to time, she still spoke about their father in a positive way. Sometime later, she learned that Kiara had passed away because of HIV. Amara chose to put everything behind her and visited Kiara's grave. Standing there quietly, she placed flowers at Kiara's grave. Deep down, Amara knew Kiara had been a victim too. The wrong guidance early in life had eventually led Kiara to a tragic ending. Comment below and let me know what you think about Amara's story. And if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Olivia's Story for more powerful stories like this one.